Well, g'day folks. Back again, Prado 150 out of here. Now, you may not recognise this workshop, but you probably do know Dan. So I'm at Dan's workshop, formerly known as Dan's Automotive. Now, we are in Leviathan Off Road. So formerly known as Dan's Automotive, he's changed his name and changed the workshop. And I've got to say, this place is absolutely huge. I might be able to rent a hoist off him, he's got so many of them. So we are here, my Prado's done 263,000 Ks and I'm going to bite the bullet. I've got a big trip coming up, as you know, over to WA. Now I didn't want to risk it, so we're here to do the injectors. And I'm going to take you through that process. But today, it's Friday afternoon and I've just dropped in to see Dan. And I'm going to leave my baby here for the weekend and we're going to work on this. But probably not we so much, I'd say more Dan's going to be working on it on Monday, just after the engine's cooled down. So we've got a bit to go through. I'll let Dan go through some of that. He'll explain it a bit better than me, but the Prado's getting an overhaul. It's mainly maintenance, preventive maintenance. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on for the Prado over the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to it actually. But I've got to go find Dan. I don't know where he's gone. He's busy somewhere in here. Well, I think I found Dan. Dan, mate, come on over, mate.
I'm just over here. It's a bit like the, if anyone's a Doctor Who fan, it's a bit like the TARDIS this. It doesn't look like much outside, but it's, it's a lot bigger than the other place. Yeah.
Come back a bit, mate. Your head's been cut off. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. I know you're quite a bit taller than me. So here is a man, and this is your new workshop, mate. Now, what a mammoth effort that you have been through to get into here.
I don't ever want to do it again.
No.
So basically, I got the keys. I don't know, like Christmas Eve, I think.
Wow.
And then basically, it's been to and from the old place. Like when we come in here, there was nothing, like absolutely nothing in here. The floors weren't painted. Like we've done everything. Myself, my wife, a few family members, had a few mates help here and there, but it has been a mammoth task, and I'm not looking forward to moving if I ever have to again. So I've got a big lease on this place, and I'm not going anywhere. Yeah.
So you're not, right at this moment in time, you're semi-open but not full-on open at the moment? I'm special A.
You've jumped the queue, which is fine.
Well, probably only because I've got that big trip.
Yeah. No, so basically at the moment I'm still kind of in the setup process. We're still, I am going to take on employees here. That's the whole reason why I've got a bigger place, and I need to take a bit of load off of me. So yeah, still setting up. Hopefully within the next kind of 3 weeks I'll officially open up the shop, but I've just been doing a few jobs here and there just to kind of pick away at things. I've got a few of my conversions still going, but I'm trying to get through those before all hell breaks loose and I bring 2 more people in here, and have to kind of either train them up or get the ball rolling with them. So yeah, it's a lot of work, yeah.
Mate,
I don't really know what to say other than.
Can we tell the folks watching? Can we tell them where you are?
So we're now on Clifford Street in Toowoomba, and which is much closer to the centre of town. Everyone, like even some of my parts suppliers, and there's a lot of other businesses very close by. It's a much more centralised area, far more exposure as well. Like there's a lot of traffic up and down this road every day. No signs up yet because I've been very picky with my logo and my font and wording and stuff for everything. So
can I show everyone the logo? It's kind of out there.
You
I'll
can.
Put it up on the screen now.
We've got one now. So
it looks awesome actually.
It's on Facebook, but no signs yet. We're still playing around with that, and I'm not in a hurry to tell everyone where I am at the moment. So.
Now there's a bit of a story to the logo because it was designed in-house.
Yeah, my wife pretty much mostly designed it.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
She's not a graphic designer or anything like that, but she pretty much did that with a bit of input from me. A lot of arguing over it being too complicated, but anyway, that's what I wanted. So Dan's Automotive is now gone. I've had that business name for quite a long time.
Well, you used to be mobile even before.
Yeah, I used to be mobile, so I was on the road, and kind of everyone associated that business with me, but I just wanted to move on. Like, I've wanted to change the whole business structure and set up as a company for quite a while now. It wasn't that easy of a process being at the place, so I bit the bullet and moved, and now everything's fresh. So it's a new business, basically, has no association with the old one other than me,
you.
basically.
That's it. Yeah.
And now we purely specialise in four-wheel drives. That is all we do.
Awesome.
Mainly Jeep, Toyota and Suzuki. That's our three kind of major brands, but we'll do any,
You're forgetting,
if it's got a transfer
you're forgetting
case,
a car, mate. What?
Yeah.
You could add enough fourth one.
we could, but that's where we want to kind of concentrate on. And like between those three brands, they're pretty damn popular here in Australia, and you're gonna, if you haven't got work out of those three, you're kind of.
You got to mention the shopping car, mate.
So, yeah, we'll do all four. Basically, if it's got a transfer case and it drives all four wheels, we're interested.
Okay.
All right.
And it's not electric.
Well, I'm actually certified to do that, but
There you go.
I'm not going to encourage electric vehicles in here at the moment. I'm still kind of.
Yeah. So Dan, I'm really sorry, mate. You did say you painted.
I've already spotted it. It's fine.
And what's wrong? What have I done?
You've leaked a little bit of oil, but we knew that when you come in last time.
We're going to get that fixed.
We're going to sort that out. Yeah.
So, mate.
Good thing the floor is catering for that. You know, we can just mop it straight up. Doesn't soak in.
That's right. Not like my driveway. So, just let the folks know what we're doing in your terms.
There's a fair bit. So basically, with any diesel, really, at some point you're going to need to do something with the injection system, whether it be high pressure pump, lines, injectors themselves, whatever the case may be. It doesn't last forever. If you just basically have a look at it this way, it's fluid passing through those same components at like 27, 30,000 psi all day, every day. It's just like the sea wearing away at a rock wall. It's erosion, but you know, something's going to fail at some point. You don't want it to fail. I've got a Prado out there that something went catastrophically wrong. We don't know yet, and I think it might be something to do with the fuel system. And now it's a whole new engine I've got to build for them. So I can't say exactly that you should do these at any specified kilometres, and you know, we're talking about injectors, but it's kind of when you get to a point that you're around that 250, 300,000 mark, you kind of got to really start thinking about doing something. Yeah, whether you pull them out, get them tested at least, in a lot of cases, if you've hit 300,000, probably do.
I was trying to get there, mate.
Yeah, probably do
But
them because
they're definitely cheaper than an engine.
Oh, a lot cheaper than an engine. Yeah, a lot more kind of, I guess, time-wise. You know, it's a lot more. A much quicker job than replacing a whole engine. A lot more beneficial to kind of do this at this stage than like that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You took me for a drive a few weeks back and we heard a little bit of a noise there.
Yeah.
But you were saying to me of a morning you were noticing it was a bit more rattly and slightly noisier than what you would usually get, which is kind of the beginning to getting to the point that you should really start to look into doing it. White smoke on startup, very noisy for the first kind of 5-10 minutes of driving, slight lack in power, using more fuel than normal, engine temperatures, things like that. But mostly with these 1KDs, it is to a tuned ear noise. Like you can tell where the injectors are getting a bit tired when you hear a certain noise, and it usually is a bit more of a rattle, knock, tap to the engine, I guess you'd say. It doesn't. They don't all make the same noise, but you can kind of hear it. And when you took me for a drive the other day, like I didn't hear it much, but it was there. Yeah. So pretty much. Yeah. Well, I actually was going to start pulling it apart. But anyway, that's all right.
Oh, today? Oh, today?
No, before you got here on Monday. But anyway, I will pull some of it
Well, what
apart.
time are you going to be here, Dan?
I don't know yet. But anyway, I was going to get a head start, but that's fine. Show you exactly. Basically, this isn't a kit, but it's a kit that I put together for this job. So you've got injectors, a fitting kit, which we'll just summarise it as that. And we've got a new viscous hub, a new thermostat, a new water pump, and a full timing belt kit. So you're getting the whole works in there basically. The only things that really kill these engines is if your timing belt snaps or your injectors fail. That's pretty much what's going to kill one of these things.
Yeah. And if you don't change your fuel filters, is that?
Well, yeah, but mainly those two things. So if you keep on top of those, these will do a lot of mileage. Basically. So we'll run through all of that probably on Monday, because there's some very specific things with the parts that I've chosen, and the reason why I've chose those, and also some things to avoid if you're going to attempt to do it yourself, or if you're getting someone else to do it. Probably just some questions you should ask. Let me put it that way, because there's a lot of products on the market that either A, aren't what they appear to be, or B, are inferior quality, and you do not want to do that. You don't want to put inferior quality components into one of these. You're going to suffer.
Some people mention to me, why aren't you just putting second-hand ones or reconditioned ones, or reconditioning what you've got?
Yeah.
But what's your opinion?
Look, I will admit, a few years back, or a while back, I would consider pulling the injectors out and sending them away to have them reconditioned, or buying a set of reconditioned injectors. Now, I don't at all. I buy brand new, genuine quality, well, I shouldn't say genuine quality. I buy the exact same injector that a vehicle was originally equipped with. Okay. I don't buy a different brand or something that's got certain parts in it. I buy the exact same injector, brand spanking new off the shelf, that vehicle was originally equipped with, and that's what goes in it. They get coded, calibrated, everything is done to them, and I know that they're going to work. I know that they are top quality. And okay, there's some vehicles out there that the genuine or the injectors that were fitted to that vehicle from factory are not that great, and you would use a different brand in there, or an alternative thing, or a reconditioned injector. But these, no, we use genuine Denso injectors. They are not a copy. They're not remanufactured. They're not whatever. They are genuine, brand spanking new Denso injectors. Yeah, and that is all I will use, because there have been a lot of issues with people using other things.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Price-wise, yes, there can be a significant difference between either having them, remanufactured, or buying a set of remanufactured injectors as opposed to a brand new set. But again, it comes down to, do you really want to compromise an engine that, honestly, like for me to build another engine like that, brand new, is $20,000.
Yeah.
Do you really want to compromise that for the sake of, you're going to save maybe like $200 per injector? Is it really worth it?
Definitely not.
No, it's not. No. So we put all brand new stuff in there. Thankfully, Toyota genuine parts are really, really good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we use all Toyota genuine parts for the other bits and pieces.
Yep, okay.
But basically, anything we pull off gets either repaired or replaced and goes back in.
Side question, when you said genuine parts, I wanted to know, what do you use for a fuel filter? Do you go to Toyota, or do you use...
Well, look, honestly, the Ryco filters are pretty damn good. Yeah, so I like Ryco. I use Ryco here. Like that's all we use here is Ryco filters.
Yep.
Genuine filters are great, don't get me wrong, but quite honestly, the Ryco's probably better bang for your buck, really.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we buy them we are now buying them in bulk, and Ryco will back their warranty and manufacturers' warranties, so new car warranties. So we just run with those. Yeah.
Mate, that's awesome. So we just have to work out what time we're coming back.
Yeah.
So folks, just bear with us in this episode. It's going to be a fairly you know, detail.
Yeah, it's pretty
Detailed,
extensive
and
job.
Dan's been great to, you know, be a part of that in the filming side of things. So I think it's going to be a great value to you guys there. I'm not sure whether Dan's going to accept my help or not, because I may be more of a hindrance. But he says it's going to be a full-on day anyway.
But being honest with the
And
filming and
when I stick
everything,
that camera in his face.
it's going to spill over into day 2, but that's fine. Like, we've accounted for that, and like it's not a job you want to rush. It isn't a 5-minute job as it is, but it's not a job you want to rush. Everything has to be clean, precisely done, even down to when we jump in there and we code in the injectors, so on and so forth. All that stuff. Like, it all takes time to do it properly. You know. Yeah.
Now you're getting a present just because of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't explain this, but between during the move between the old workshop and this one, for some reason my very expensive, elaborate scan tool has decided that it no longer likes life anymore. And I was in here last Sunday downloading new software for it, and I got it working Monday, and then the touch screen failed on it. So I've gone, so now I have to send it back to the manufacturer to be repaired, and I go, okay, whatever. So I've now gone and purchased a brand new scan tool.
Hopefully, crossing our fingers, what that oil leak is.
Yeah.
Well, we're not even going to talk about what else it could be.
We don't want to talk about what it could be, because if it ends up being that, it's going to be a lot more than a 2-day job.
Yeah. So we're thinking it's coming from the crankcase seal, is that what we call it?
It is either coming from the front crank seal or the actual seal on the injector pump itself. So they're basically where the injector pump bolts into the back of the timing gear case, there's a seal in there. So it could, I'm hoping it's coming from either one of those two, because on the scheme of things, they're far easier and less time consuming to replace than if it is the actual gear case itself, the timing gear case. That's a really big job.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about engine removal for that job.
Possibly if
or
it
front end removal.
It's not ideal.
We're not even going to mention that again.
No, I have seen them leak from that timing gear case, as I have a few other Toyota engines as well. And it's a big job. Yeah.
Right, well, so that's a big package.
Yeah. So
to complete.
Yeah, I will.
And you guys are going to be part of that.
We'll show you all the parts and bits and pieces on Monday. We'll lay it all out on the bench and kind of explain.
We'll even put the part.
Why.
People ask what part numbers are, so
we've got part numbers. But just bear in mind with the injectors that there are multiple different versions of injectors. So these injectors are specifically for this series of engine and this ECU type.
Okay.
Don't buy them off the shelf. Make sure whoever you buy them from, give them the VIN number.
Yeah.
And I can even have injectors here that we can order in and send off to people. We can even supply you a whole package. Yeah. Basically, this is the package, and you've got every single thing you need there. What you got to do is fit it, basically.
Yeah. All right, mate. That's awesome.
Okay.
So I'll wife's going to pick me up because I'm not driving this.
This can
have a
sleepover somewhere over here tonight.
The Prados are going like hotcakes in Toowoomba at the moment. There's a bit of a crime spree going on, so I made sure that Dan locks, triple locks. I've
got extra security out here to lock up the car park.
So my car is going to be safe.
It'll be safe. Yeah. Yeah. Usually I block vehicles in with another vehicle and hide keys in multiple places.
Yeah.
So if you intend on breaking in,
don't no hope here.
you'll never find it.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, we'll get this thing started, and I'm getting picked up shortly.
Yep.
And I'll see you Monday at a time that we work out.
I'll send you a message, and we'll work out a time.
Okay. All right,
but I may get a head start on the non-injector related stuff.
But we'll work out those finer details.
Okay.
Next month.
Right.
You're right, Dan. You're making too much noise, mate.
Got the sand and stuff coming out of it.
It's been used.
It's been used, yeah, it's been used.
Well, folks, here I am, back Dan's workshop here, and the car's been on the weekend to cool down. So Dan's made a bit of a start, getting the water out of the radiator, pulling all the bits off. Still the sand coming out.
I think I've got half of the springs in it.
You've probably got a bit of Fraser Island up there as well.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not, because I did a good job at cleaning it. Anyway, we have an oil leak here, and we're not quite sure where the oil leak is. So we're where he thought it might be, it's not, which would be an easy seal job. Where he thinks it could be, it's quite a major situation, but in between an easy and a major, we might have found out where it is, which is not good, but hopefully it can be sorted in the next day or two from Dan. So we're just getting into it. I better get in there and give him a hand. We've got him a cup of tea so that just to help him out a bit, and we've got quite a bit of work to do, so I can't interrupt Dan too much today while he's working on it. What do you reckon, mate?
Strap bolt.
Yeah. Oh, yep, we've got a second hand one of them. So what's happening here, Dan is taking all the timing gear parts off the front of the engine so you can get a bit more clearer idea of where the oil is coming from. So that's what he's doing now. I've offered him my help, but he said he doesn't need it quite at this moment. So I'm just going to let him do his thing. We are a little bit pressed for time for Dan, but he's doing a good job. So.
Belt looks like it's still in pretty good nick.
Oh, that's the
old timing belt?
Yeah.
It's a genuine Toyota one there.
So what are we looking at there, Dan?
Well, honestly, most of the Toyota engines, you pull the timing belts off and they still look half decent.
Yeah.
But when a timing belt is bad or requires desperate replacement, you squeeze them like this, you'll see all these little tiny cracks in there. And sometimes you don't even have to do that. You can literally just pull the cover off and you'll see perish marks and splits and cracks all the way through this, and that's when you know that you've left it way too long. Also as well, they tend to crack through the teeth or in between the teeth. But this one here is still in pretty good nick. Yeah, my kind of rule of thumb with these is if they've done more than half of their life and you're pulling it off, just replace it. You know, it's not worth putting a belt that's already done 100,000, 80, 100,000 kilometres, but just replace it. Yeah.
They're due at 150, aren't they?
150. Yep, 150 on these. On every Toyota I've ever had, I've always replaced them every 100. That's just what I do. But yeah, 150 is ample for these. Yep. Oh.
Dan, you were saying that the genuine pump for this year model is a two-piece water pump.
It looks like it's a two-piece pump on here, yep, which is good. Because it saves you a bit of time having to pull the whole backing plate or housing off of it.
Yep.
Which was always the problem with the original pumps on the earlier ones, is that you had to pull, they were all one piece, so you had to pull the whole lot off there. But this one looks like it is just the face that you have to pull off, or the snout of the pump. But it is a genuine pump. It says so on the front of it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And usually when they have a one-piece pump on there, I put a two-piece on them anyway.
Yeah, which is what you got.
Which is what I've got. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get this old pump off. Right, so there you go. It is a two-piece pump, this one.
So Dan, why you got it sitting there? What is the problem that you have? Like if you don't change
Oh,
it?
look, again, we're very lucky, us Toyota owners, that the genuine parts are really, really damn good. From factory, they're really, really good. And water pumps on them last quite a long time. My general rule with these, and I've yet to been caught out on it, is on the first timing belt, so at 150,000, I leave the pump alone. I don't touch it. It's very, very rare that you'll get a failed pump at the first 300,000, quite honestly. I think I've seen one actually fail. So at the second timing belt, so at 300,000, no questions asked. Even if the pump looks absolutely perfect, it gets replaced, because chances are it's not going to make it to 450. And you always use a good quality pump or a genuine pump. We've got a good quality aftermarket one. I've been using them for years and I've never once had a failure. So yes, like I say, this is basically the first part of the pump, and then there's a big backing plate, a housing that bolts this to the actual block itself. That's what usually you'd have to take off as well, but this one is not. It's just a very simple procedure. And we put a new gasket in there, clean it all up, and so that's the gasket that comes with it. It's like a metal, like steel composite. Yeah, pretty simple. As you can see, if you look down here, this housing on the inside is lovely and clean. Nice and clean inside of there. So we're just going to clean all this old gasket material off here, make sure it looks like this basically. New gasket, new water pump face, and you're good to go.
Okay.
So what usually happens with these and where they leak is, you can see here, so they can weep out this little hole here, which is a relief hole. Right, they can leak out of there. I've seen some of them leak out of this little Welch plug here, or some of them actually leak out the shaft themselves. Right, and it sprays everywhere and makes a horrible mess. Not to mention you're losing coolant, so you run the risk of overheating and stuff like that. If you see it start to leak, get onto it pretty quick, because they do make a horrific mess, and the last thing you want is to overheat one of these. It's going to cost you a lot more than a few $100 for a new pump.
That's what I'm saying, preventive measures now.
Yeah. Yep, so that's another one for the scrap pile. Looks like... So you see it's got the whole housing and everything there. Right, so that's usually what you'd have to take off, is all of that, but this one here is just the face of the pump. So...
What's your plan with it, Dan? So
we're just going to replace the face of it.
Yeah, okay.
There's no need to tamper with the... there's no need to tamper at all with the backing plate, the housing itself, if we don't need to. So this is a good quality pump. This is a Gates pump. It's a full Gates timing belt kit. I tend to use Gates for all my stuff really. Yeah. There's only the odd few that I'll deviate and use a different brand for specific reasons, but Gates are pretty reputable. Yeah. Does not fit. It's perfect.
I should be doing that, Dan, not you. We're just gonna have a look underneath while it's on the hoist and see where if we can find out where this leak's coming from. So, can everyone cross their fingers, toes, and everything that it's coming from a good spot, if you could say that.
No leaks are good.
I suppose what's not good is it only leaks after it's come back from a drive, eh?
Yeah.
Anyone can see where it's coming from, just send me a comment below.
It looks to me like it is coming from the back of the injector pump.
Yep.
You can see there's a lot of oil there. Right, and there's a drip right on that leg off of one of the mounts for the pump there. well, that's anyway off of the back of that vac pump. This could be coming from the vac pump as well.
Yep.
But what we're going to do is have a look with the camera or the mirror above that, and see what we're dealing with. So it's either one of two things. It's either the power steer pump, which is right there. I don't think it's coming from the vac pump. It looks to be too dry there, doesn't it? And then we've got the injector pump that sits up above that. So it could be coming out. There's an O-ring in the back of this power steer pump here. It could be leaking out that O-ring, but I say I want to get a camera up the back here, like up behind here, and have a look if it's wet above this power steer pump. If it's not, that's great, because I'd rather pull a power steer pump off than an injector pump.
Rightio. Yep.
Right. So it could be that the O-ring in there is pinched or perished, and it's just bypassing that there. Which in which case is easy. We get another O-ring, seal it up, pop it back in. Right.
Well, let's hope it's that, Dan.
I sincerely hope so, because I can't blow any more engines out in this workshop at the moment.
I'd be really sad if it wasn't that. If it was something more sinister than that.
My fear was the gear case, but the timing gear case, but it's not.
It's not.
I don't think so. No. I think it's coming from. I think it's coming from the power steer pump here. But let's get the camera and have a look. Listen.
So what's this part you're doing here?
So what we're going to do now is, just while we've got a bit of space in here, we're going to remove the the intake pipe here. We're going to remove the AC compressor, and then we're going to go down and get the alternator out the way, and we'll do the thermostat. Okay. So the thermostat on these is not 2-minute job.
Oh wow! Okay.
So usually a thermostat you'd expect to see sitting up here somewhere.
Yep.
These ones are actually down here, behind all of this.
Wow. Okay.
But while we're in here freshening up the cooling system, it's definitely worth doing. So I've actually got a high flow thermostat, which obviously, as it sounds, it's high flow, so it just lets a bit more coolant pass through it at a quicker rate. If you're towing, high flow thermostat, definitely do it. I've already jumped the gun, and you didn't see this on camera, but what I have done here is I have put
I was having a look at that. Yeah.
I've put in your new viscous hub.
I thought that was pretty
shiny.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is an aftermarket hub, and it does lock up for a bit longer than the factory one. Okay. So also as well, it will lock on slightly earlier in the temperature range than the factory one. So that helps with cooling. Right. So it comes on a little bit sooner and stays on for a bit longer to pull more air through the radiator for a longer duration. Basically, that's the idea around it. Now you can actually, factory ones, you can pull a little plug out and put a dollop of or a little bit more silicone oil in there. This is better as far as I'm concerned. These aftermarket ones that lock up a bit more work better.
So, yeah. So Dan, when I felt mine, and I felt that in the spinning,
this one's
so
much
tighter.
better.
Yeah. Is that because it's coming to the end, do you think?
Well, one, it's brand new, but two, it's the whole idea of it. It is tighter and firmer than the factory one. Yeah. Okay. So on some vehicles you can actually get upgraded fans as well. So the blades are slightly different pitch. Some of them actually add an extra blade in there just to pull more air through. There's nothing wrong with these, but just that viscous hub alone will pull more air through for longer.
And that's what we want, especially when you're towing.
Yeah, when you're towing. So you're pulling up a hill. This one's going to, say, a few degrees kind of cooler. It's going to come on. It's going to stay on for a bit longer as well and pull plenty of air through. And it locks up a bit tight as well, so there's not as much slipping in the hub there, and all around just a better option. I had one on my 79 series when I had it. I had a different viscous hub on there. Huge difference, massive difference. And I would I'd have 3 ton behind that thing pulling up a pretty decent hill, and it drops it by about 8-9 degrees. Okay, so that off. At all from it. Come on, out you come. Pipe out the way first.
So Dan, anyone that might be tackling this at home, these are pretty easy to get off.
Yeah, you kind of just feed a screwdriver in there and they pop up out the way. It's going to make a liar of me now, but they kind of just pop up out the way. Probably need a smaller screw, yeah, just like that. You don't need to be too rough for them, but you just wiggle the screwdriver down into the gap and off they come.
And then you're just going to move them out of the laser.
Yeah, we're going to move the intake, that whole intake pipe out the way there, so it just frees up a bit of room to move this stuff around. And then we'll do the thermostat. And
so you said this comes out?
That comes off, AC compressor comes off, alternator moves out the way a bit, and then...
Is that for the thermostat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much is the thermostat? $30 or something?
Oh, the high flow ones are a bit more than that, but
okay,
yeah.
So what I'm saying is all that for a...
Yeah. Yeah, for a decent amount of work for a thermostat.
Wow.
They've always been the same, even on the old H series engines, they were all right there on the side there. Yep. But hey, look, it works. Right, the cooling systems on these are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right, it's obviously there for a reason.
Yeah. Right. This is the best of them, mate. The Prado 150 2015 model.
The last of the 1KDs, yep.
Yeah. So where are we, Dan? Where's the thermostat?
That's basically housing there. So your thermostat's in behind here.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to move this bracket. And we're going to move the actual intake to the turbo there. So we're just going to unbolt that. That comes off, and then we can get in here. We'll probably just disconnect the connectors off the back of the alternator there, and then yeah, we'll get in here. There's a bolt down there that's kind of hidden, and then this one here, and then it pops off. And your thermostat's inside of there.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Holding it somewhere. Or is it just stuck on that dowel? It might just be stuck on that dowel. There's another bolt.
Is it?
There's another bolt.
How many bolts are there then?
There's one for the bracket. And then there's one that actually holds the pipe on, but you've got to get the bracket out the way first. That one's kind of hidden down here.
Is there an extra one in there, mate?
Oh, there's not an extra one, it's just I didn't look and I didn't see the bracket.
So Dan's just got the thermostat out. What were those words you said, mate?
I said that is one of the cleanest thermostats I have ever removed.
Wow.
Out of a 10-year-old vehicle.
But that doesn't mean to say that it's not working properly, is it?
No. But like honestly, with the repairs that we have done in the past to the cooling system and what we're doing now, this really was the missing link. We haven't touched this.
No.
So it kind of makes sense that while we're in there doing what we're doing to replace this, and yeah. Very important with thermostats as well. General rule of thumb is that this little bleed valve here points up. So the highest point on the thermostat, you want this little bleed valve. Alright, and then you get a seal like this that goes on. We've got all new stuff. And make sure if you're just replacing like for like, make sure that it's got the same temperature range on there. Temperature 82 this one is. 82 this one is here. So we're just replacing it with exactly the same. But you can go up or down depending on the size of your cooling system, the environment that you're driving the vehicle in, a few factors. There's sometimes I will go down, so the thermostat comes on a bit, opens up a bit sooner.
You wouldn't go up, would you, Dan? Why would you go up?
Oh, well, in some race applications and that, you actually want the engine to warm up quicker.
Yes.
So you would go up, but yeah.
going on there, Dan?
Well, I ordered a separate seal, not knowing that it actually came with one, and the one that I ordered, as you can see, is a lot smaller. That's actually what was listed for it. So unless I have a feeling that someone has incorrectly picked this and they've picked a 3 instead of a 9. So I'll just keep hold of this for
lucky
another vehicle. Yeah. Anyway, that's your new one. 82 degrees, but this is a high flow thermostat. Okay, so you can see it's very similar.
Yep.
This one looks a lot more substantial, but yeah, this one just allows a bit more flow when it opens up, basically. This is actually rubber in here as well, right, whereas this is steel.
So the thermostat's in, and Dan's obviously got a process or procedure for the next step. I think he's just going to put a few things back on. He said to me that he doesn't take everything all off, so he's putting a few things back on before he attacks the injectors, I believe. We're just waiting on the seal for the injector pump, so we believe at this stage that is the problem. So, and I've taken the fuel filter off the front. I think I've helped him out by doing that. And when we decide to lift the Prado up on the hoist, I'll grab the back one. So Dan's just popping the alternator back in.
Yep, there's going to go back in. I'm just going to move the slide a little bit first. There we go. Perfect. So we're just going to put the new water pump in. So first we're going to use a little whizzer here, a little gasket remover, and just clean up the backing plate of the housing. Clean all the old gasket material off there, make sure it's all nice and tidy, and then we'll get the new gasket, bit of RTV on there, get the new water pump on.
And just in case anyone's attempting this at home, what's the importance of cleaning all that up before you put the new one on?
Just making sure that you're getting two nice, clean, evenly mated areas together. Yeah, not going to leak, no. With that, you can't guarantee that if there's any little high and low spots there that it's going to cause the pump not to seal up correctly against the gasket. So just clean it up. Paper gasket, a little bit of smear of that RTV either side, put it on, it's not going to leak. No. Okay.
Well, Dan and I just had a bit of lunch and a bit of a break time. Now we're back into it. Well, Dan's back into it.
So yeah, we'll pull these injector lines off.
Yep.
And once they're out of the way, we can pop that rocker cover off, and that will reveal all the hidden secrets in there.
Exciting part, if that's the way you put it.
As exciting as it can get.
Yeah. That's it.
Anyway, I'm just going to free up some space over here for myself. Race here for the manifold. Better get that out of the way first. There you go. cylinder 4.
And that's what we're getting replaced.
That's what we're replacing.
Part of the kit, yeah.
So what we do when we lay them out is 4, 3, 2, 1, just as they're going on the vehicle. Right? Because
all different shapes?
they're all different shapes, and you want to kind of match up the shape and just go straight on there instead of kind of figuring out, you know, what goes where.
Fair enough.
Right, next one. This is cylinder 3. I'm just going to remove this line here, or this heater hose that goes into the cooler, just so I can pull them all past. Come through. It was a case of wiggling them through like that. That's number 3. Pretty self-explanatory what's top and bottom. Top has this elongated threaded collar here. The bottom much shorter, as you can see, it just looks like a nut.
What do you got there, Dan?
So these are the actual seals that will seal up the injector line. So the injector line sits inside of here, and this pushes into the side of the rocker cover gasket, and the injector kind of sits about here, and the actual inlet to the injector, so the fitting to go into the head of the injector sits inside of this. So this essentially seals the oil and dust from the rocker cover and allows the injector line to pass through the centre of it. Okay, so we've got new ones of those. Everything that comes off gets replaced. Right, now you can remove the rocker cover, and you will see some injectors, some cams.
We have cleaned the rocker covers.
It'll be fairly clean. They usually are.
Not always though.
Not always, but
isn't the ones that do their oil changes every 5,000, is they're going to be clean?
Well, we'd hope so. That's the idea of it. This stuff's usually pretty terrible. It flakes to bits and doesn't want to come off in one piece. Right, okay, let's do this. So, it's been a long time since I've done one of these.
Yeah.
Probably 10 or 11 months since I've done a full injector set on the right line.
Wow.
Give them a bit of a wiggle, that will come loose. Now you've got to be quite careful when you pull these off that you don't take the heads of these injectors off with it, so you just wiggle them up, and off it comes.
Look at that, mate. There she is.
It's not like it's really sludgy or, you know, like it's not got heaps of sediment build-up and carbon build-up in there. It's looking pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. like even if you stick your finger in here, it's all just fresh oil. It's not like it's full of sludge in there.
Yep.
So you do get the odd few that is very thick and sludgy on top of the head bolts and down in these little recesses, but yours is not, which is good. So while you have the rocker cover off, this little half moon here, we replace that or reseal it. This is actually an alloy one, so we reseal that. Don't leave it, do it, because they can leak from there sometimes. And also as well, we're going to put a new camshaft seal in, so we're going to pop this out, put a new seal in there. And it's good to have it, or good to do it while you got it here, just in case you've got to loosen off these cam caps slightly to get it in. Okay. We'll do that in just a sec, but first thing is we've got to take the bleed off rail off, which is this here. Right, so you can see it attaches to each injector, so basically this just bleeds fuel off into the return, which goes through a little banjo fitting at the rear of the cylinder head here. We replace all of the banjo washers, so there's 5 altogether. We replace all of those when we put the new injectors in. We also replace all of the tie down or anchor bolts. All of those get replaced because they will stretch a little bit and fatigue a little bit when you actually torque them up, so you don't reuse them. Alright? The main thing, you're going to get little bits of stuff fall off of the rocker cover when you pause it. The main thing is to make sure it's thoroughly clean when you put the injectors back in.
Yeah.
If anything falls down into those seats and gets trapped in between the nozzle washer and the head, like, it's not ideal.
Yeah. Yep.
So it needs to be thoroughly cleaned. I've actually got a little tool we're going to feed down inside of there and give those seats a good clean up.
Oh yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And also we'll give the actual the well or the injector tube a clean up as well.
Yep.
So that when we know when we put the injector in, it is crystal clear.
Looking forward to seeing these injectors, mate, what they look like.
Yep. So this is all you do.
I suppose in the seats, that's the other thing to look at.
Yeah. So we use the rattle gun to crack these off. And there's a specific reason why we do that. And that is, sometimes if you try to use a ratchet or a spanner on this, it will actually grab on the banjo fitting and twist the pipe, and it can snap this bleed off rail. So if you use the impact gun, it gives it that little bit of shock and undoes. You don't need to sit there rattling them off. Just literally just a little crack to loosen them, and then you can wind them out literally by hand. When you're putting them in, you torque them down using obviously a torque wrench or a spanner or whatever you want to use. You really should torque these down with a torque wrench. But that's how we undo them. It's just a little trick to get them undone without twisting the pipe itself.
Here we go, mate. Here it is.
So what we do is we just crack these off, right?
Oh, yeah.
So these are the actual anchors or the tie downs for the injector. So to crack them off.
Yep.
Not with the rattle gun, just by hand.
Alright, hear that, folks? No rattle gun.
You can see they're not super tight.
No.
Right? You don't crank the hell out of them. And then we take these out. Now we've got new ones of these, alright? So these bolts, when you pull them out, they go straight in the bin. Do not reuse them.
Okay.
And you'll see, when I pull this out, you'll see like a little conical washer. You've got to keep that. See this washer here? Right? That allows the bolt to sit perfectly central in the actual anchor itself. Right?
So the washer on there you keep.
The washer you keep. I don't think you get new washers. I'm pretty sure you don't. But there's no reason to replace them anyway.
Yeah, right.
Right, so you just pull these out. Some people may tell you that it is, but it's not. These are not like cam caps and stuff like that. You can put them wherever you like. So you just take the anchors off. They'll all be cleaned up and they'll go back on. Right, so these usually are quite easy to get out. You just grab them from the top, give them a bit of a twist, and out they come. Right. Now you'll see the washer fell inside there. We've got to pull that back out. Okay. So, now there's some, and I do have special tools that actually grip onto here, and it's like a little pneumatic ram that kind of jars them and shocks them to get them out. Some are that hard in there that I've actually had to get the engine crane with a little adapter like that and put pressure on it and just literally soak it in WD-40 and leave it overnight, and they eventually come out. And that one there's got the actual nozzle washer on it. You can see it didn't fall off. Right, you see that there? It didn't actually fall off. It's still on it.
What conditions are in, mate?
At least they haven't been leaking, which is good. As in,
so you can tell that while looking at them?
Well, if they were leaking, this would all be covered in soot and carbon on the end of the nozzles.
Like that.
That one looks like it may have a little bit.
That's funny you said that.
Okay. Last one. Yeah, it's tight, but it comes out.
So that's covered in all too. Well, folks, I'm going to leave that episode right there, but stay tuned, because in the next episode, disaster strikes, and unfortunately, the oil leak that we think is coming from a certain place is a lot more sinister than that. But I'm not going to say too much, because you're going to have to watch the next one. But it's a bit of a game stopper. Very, very disappointing and sad. But I won't give away too much. Some serious issues there. And what I'm really thankful is that we found it in the workshop right then and there, rather than on our big trip that we've got planned over to WA. Because Dan said I wouldn't even have got out of Queensland like this. So stay tuned. We're going to go through the injectors a little bit more. Just have a look at the ones I've pulled out. And yeah, we run into some major problems. So that's going to be next on Prado 150 out of here. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It is a bit of a long one. I wanted to, I suppose, have Dan explain in detail all the stuff that we were doing, and in preparation for a fairly extensive trip. And the vehicle, or the Prado, was coming up to the 300,000 kilometres, and they're all the things that you need to be doing to your Prado in this case, around about that amount of kilometres and age. So guys, we'll see you on the next one. Prado 150 out of here.